Salutations, class, and welcome back. Tonight we'll be doing Inscryption, which is a game I've heard a lot about but still know nothing about whatsoever. Allegedly a roguelike deck building game, which you know how much I love roguelikes. We have a very, very busy week ahead of us, with a lot more Dead Cells and Noida. It's just going to be roguelike week in general to start off 2022. After all, last week I was ill for most of the time, so it took us a while to get to the streaming that we wanted to do. I hope you will all join me for a very wonderful and very, very dense week. Speaking of dense, I'd like to know what exactly is going on with the intro screen. I booted up Inscryption a moment ago, and I was going to do the pre-game checklist for various settings or otherwise, but no. I only see a very ominous flickering play button, roughly in the center of the screen. If this jump scares me, I am going to quit and never stream ever again. You will have lost my trust, but we've dallied long enough. Let's see what we have here. Is only the pre-intro. Not much to worry about then, is it?
Okay, time to figure out what's on this thing.
Beautiful, adorable, and pixely. Options, just to double check. We're doing something with cards for this as well. I see. Alright. I don't think we need any particularly changed menu stuff going on here, so let's go ahead. Start it. Uh-huh. We don't have a new game option, yet this is my first time. You're messing with me, aren't you? Good evening, Kayla, and welcome. This game's gonna mess with me, isn't it? Well, that's the floppy disk, obviously, so I'm going to guess this game is going to mess with a lot of my save and load functions, isn't it? Indeed, error, finally. I was looking forward to doing this last week, but I came down with an odd sickness. Another challenger. It has been ages. Perhaps you have forgotten how this game is played. So they are hitting us with a joke about how there's allegedly a save file already on here then. Welcome, James. I'm in for a surprise, aren't I? Allow me to remind you. Play the squirrel card. Is there a reason why? Does it matter? Now play your stoat. Stoats cost 1 blood. Sacrifices must be made. So I'm guessing we're doing something... Oh dear. We're going to cost life to play our cards, aren't we? No. We sacrifice another card. Okay. An honorable death. Play the stoat. Wolves require 2 sacrifices. You don't have enough. Ring the bell to end your turn and commence combat. Okay, so it's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh, where we have a variety of cards that require other sacrifices in order to be played. I will definitely do voice acting. How's this guy going to speak? Is he going to be ominous? Is this the pirate fellow I see on the Steam page? Your stoat stands unopposed. The number on the bottom left is its attack power. 1. Your stoat dealt me 1 damage. I added it to the scale. You win if you tip my side all the way down. Like this. My turn. Your stoat stands in the way of my coyote. My coyote dealt 2 damage to your stoat. Ominous dungeon master. Alright. What sort of voice would we do for a fellow like him? Perhaps a bit more gruff and weathered. I'll play around, see what sounds comfortable to us. That means your stoat's health is 2 less. If a creature's health reaches 0, it dies. It's your turn, again. Sounds like simple magic nonsense. You may draw from your deck, or you may draw a squirrel. So squirrels are generic bait creatures we use, I imagine. Use them as sacrifices for any of our larger monsters. Now, I'm going to go on a limb here and consider that a wolf, with its requiring 2 sacrifices, is generally worth giving up some weakened minions to. So I'm going to elect to draw a squirrel. How dull. I'm going to place a squirrel and then play a wolf. No, the wolf only has 2 HP, so it's going to lose to the coyote. I will not give him a superior trade yet. Stoat attacks, and it looks like they do not trade. Because you are learning, I will pass. It looks like they do not trade health and attack values. So when we initialize an attack, we don't lose health from it, it looks like. Again, the choice. A random card from your deck, or the certainty of a squirrel. We'll pick something we don't know about. A river snapper has 6 health and requires 2 sacrifices. I think we shall elect to play defensively here. Fear not, the beast is sacrificed, but not removed from your deck. Its suffering was real, but you will see it again. And there we go. We have a nice defensive wall ahead of us. You dealt 1 damage, so I put 1 weight on the scale. Pass. We do not have any more cards in the deck then. So, more squirrels. I imagine there's not necessarily a limit to the number of cards we can play, but I'll keep that down on the table. See what we have lined up next. Was I not clear? You can play a squirrel and also sacrifice it in the same turn. I don't plan on sacrificing the turtle, though. I'll sacrifice 2 squirrels. The cards shiver with anticipation. This game's going to make me feel very, very guilty about how I play, isn't it? You've won this match. They won't all be so easy. Let me recall your story. Oh, yes. You were lost, deep in the forest. A single path revealed itself. Move our little game piece along. Two denizens of the forest approached you tentatively. The undying cat sacrificing the poor beast does not kill it. The caustic adder. Damage from its poison bite is always lethal. Only one may grace your paltry deck. Well, cats are very This game's going to punch me in the gut no matter which choice I pick. For the sake of a cat. I'm nervous. I don't want to hurt my cat over and over again. I love cats. Some of the creatures of the forest seemed willing to follow you. You came across an abandoned sack. You found a squirrel in a bottle. Break in case of emergency. And have a second. Another useful implement. I'll allow you to tip the scales with it. 3 is as much as you can carry. An encounter, it looks like. You were ambushed while crossing some rough terrain. You sacrificed me while I was sleeping. It was the right play. I get it. Maybe you'll help me? Play along for now. You may now see my moves ahead of time. So what are you gonna be doing? Has a wolf cub ready to play. Bottled squirrels. I could imagine that in Noida. Especially since we beat the first playthrough, I might actually get to a modded playthrough soon enough. Another thing is that we will be returning to Noida this week. It's basically just an entire week of roguelikes. I might even do a little bit of streaming off schedule. Who knows? The cat requires a blood sacrifice. I will first play a squirrel. Why not? Here we go. Wonder what our stout has for us. I'll end my turn. We have to get through the stump, it looks like. Mind the ambitious wolf cub. It ages swiftly. So I imagine that's going to turn it into a more powerful wolf pretty soon. Let's draw a wolf from our deck. We will not yet make a sacrifice. I'm going to pay a little bit patiently until I have a better understanding of what we're doing. So it evolves. The airborne bat flies over creatures to attack directly. So we will need someone to attack that bat before it becomes a problem. Wolf requires 2 sacrifices. And it seems most of our characters are stuck in whatever lanes they end up in. So we have a high chance of drawing a wolf from the deck here. I'm going to go ahead and... Let's start setting up a sacrifice. If we do squirrel here, and then place our cat down over it, we'll have a sacrifice for a wolf next turn, assuming we draw a squirrel. Or, of course, we can just do one right here, right now. The wolf demands 2 sacrifices. 1, the cat. of allegedly infinite lives. Should be able to attack the bat immediately, and if I know how the mechanics of this game work, we're not going to have to worry about our wolf taking damage. So, I end my turn. Breakthrough. Alright. We have a cat for an indefinite number of sacrifices. I'm going to go ahead and place a river snapper in the way of our wolf here. I wonder, can we move our cards? I don't think we're in trouble yet. Indeed, we'll be able to attack that wolf before it becomes a problem. We'll take the other wolf just in case. But it doesn't look like we... Okay, right-click. So we can see what their individual behaviors are when we right-click specific parts of their cards. The stoat here is the only one that's animated, so I assume it will continue talking to us. Simple enough. You prevailed, and trekked onwards past the now bloodied terrain. The young wolf cub, it grows into a wolf after a single turn. Or the meek sparrow, an inexpensive, if feeble, flying creature. I'm gonna go ahead and try for a sparrow. Just allows us to speed up the game a bit more offensively by going over any walls that might be in our way. You stumbled into some strange stones in the mist. You were compelled to choose a worthy sacrifice, one that will be lost forever. I love my cat too much. The sparrow is allegedly more powerful, but it could just be playing off of the newer mechanics we were just introduced to. I will be willing to give up the sparrow. You looked upon your menagerie and selected a healthy host. I trust my stoat with as unpleasant as his expressions might be. Very well. After all, this is a roguelike, so we are expected to lose time and again, aren't we? What an honor. Ah! A ghastly spectacle, but the soul of the sparrow now lives in the stoat. So our little guy has flying now and can go over enemy creatures. Behold my totem. It inscribes my canine cards with the airborne sigil. Aha. Take a look at the board here. So we'll want to have some offensive power in each of those lanes. For now, we can go ahead and place a squirrel here in the uncontested zone. We will hold on to our cat in case he has a way to attack it before we have use of him. After all, he only requires one sacrifice, and we can immediately get rid of a squirrel in order to do that. Love this game a lot, Era. It definitely has your vibes, I can tell. A little ominous, at the very least. My totem has granted my coyote the power of flight. Ah, this is gonna be a problem, isn't it? I will draw from the deck here, which will probably... He's completely insane. You see that, right? No care for the rules. Pathetic, really. Enough. Only keeps me around to watch me suffer. Well, Error, you see, I'm referring to the fact that in the past, you have often talked about how much you enjoy the more homicidal aspects of Undertale and Deltarune. And right here, I'm getting relatively nightmarish vibes. We shall place the squirrel down here, immediately sacrifice it to our beloved little kitty, and sacrifice both of them for a stoat. We cannot sacrifice it in the same turn? Is that what the deal is? Oh, we only need the one. Got it. Back on the board. We should have sacrificed the cat instead. No matter, we'll have a squirrel soon enough. We can afford to take a little bit of damage, right? No. Looks like we will be losing next turn if we allow that to happen. Oh. So that's what the pliers are for. James, I understand why you used a tooth as the symbol when you put this up for the Discord vote. My class wants me to suffer. A well-earned point of damage. I didn't think you would really do it. Not the first option I would have picked. Very well. So it's not like magic. We don't have flying creatures attack flying creatures, do we? I thought it was like magic in which flying would attack flying. Well, more things to learn, and we lost a tooth for it. You've lost. Using this as a learning opportunity may be the only way to mitigate my disappointment. Get up. Get up from the table. Fetch me the candlestick from atop the barrel beside the door. Candlestick from atop the barrel beside the door. Bring it here. Now sit back down. Let me explain something to you. That was one of the two mistakes you can make here. If you make another, I must sacrifice you. Now, where were we? Why didn't you use flying? I've only been playing this game about 20 minutes, and I do not yet understand the full breadth of the mechanics. This is a first-time blind playthrough here. The monstrous grizzly. Its form speaks enough of its efficacy. Powerful, but we do not have enough to sacrifice to it yet. We'll start light. No. Yeah, we'll start light. We'll take the sparrow back. Now we have a choice between a campfire or what appears to be an encounter. So to the campfire we go. You came across a small group of survivors. Faces shrunken from starvation. They huddled around a campfire. Yeah, I don't know what a flying Urayuli is. A Markiplier reference, according to James, it looks like. Curious. They looked upon your group of creatures and beckoned. Come, warm one of your creatures by the fire, one said. Warm it by a fire. That will enhance its power, said another. You noticed one of the survivors wiping drool from their mouths. Another uncomfortable sacrifice to be made, it looks like. Stoat doesn't look too happy about this. If this isn't a Jip, and we have a creature to strengthen, then a very tanky turtle, I would imagine, would be our best bet. The fire warmed the poor river snapper, enhancing its power. One of the survivors reached towards it. Another gnashed their teeth. Without a word, you pulled the river snapper away from the fire and left. So that should allow us to play significantly more defensively. A decent enough start. So we have a grizzly moving down the line on that side. With 6 health, quite ferocious. Starting out with such an advantage then, aren't you? We can't move any of the cards that we already have down. We might be in trouble. Well, that was quick. Only hope we really have here. If we draw our cat, we immediately have a sacrifice for a wolf. That's really the only thing I think we can depend on. There's a way out for both of us. It's somewhere in this foul cabin. Be silent or I will tear you to shreds. We don't have an option otherwise, do we? And it doesn't appear as if we have an emergency escape. We don't have any sacrifices we can make. And the sparrow isn't going to stop that grizzly, is it? I don't like what I see here. Speak to me, Stoat. Do you have a trick up your sleeve? This spot? You're sure? You sure? We can't move them after we place them, it looks like. If we attacked directly... No, that wouldn't have given us a chance to block him. Error, what do you have in store? Ah! Okay. So we still have a small chance. Okay, so flying does not work like how it does in Magic. Instead, it just means offensively you go over everything else. So you need to place a regular creature versus a flying one in order to get rid of them. Seems we are out of options. And the Stoat no longer has orders for us. Alas, It is time for you to perish. Give me your phone. Okay. Well, 30 minutes in and we've made our first mistake, as is necessary for every roguelike game. Heading to the operating table, are we? You aren't dead yet. This isn't purgatory. Though you may think of it that way. Before you expire, I must ask you a favor. I would like a memento. Your very own death card. It's quite plain at the moment, isn't it? We will work together to amend that. I want this to be the perfect memento of you. Here are some cards for your mediocre deck. We can put them to good use. Please, choose a card to draw the cost from. Well, that should easily be the cat, right? A cost of 1 blood from the cat. And another. This time I will use its power and health. The numbers. I still like that turtle. Turtles are very nice. 2 power and 6 health from the river snapper. Now choose a card from which we will extract the sigils. Only one option. A sigil of airborne from the sparrow. Which means we don't get to have much offensive power on, or defensive power on something that's flying, do we? Or, perhaps, that just requires it to be a barrier for the opponent to get through while slowly tipping the scales in our favor. This might work. I never did ask you your name. Xander. There is now but one final matter. The portrait. Are you ready? That better not be cheating into my webcam. I'm gonna cover that. You do not need to smile. Here we go again. Another challenger. Perhaps it is time. Perhaps you can understand bones. The resourceful possum costs 2 bones. You gain a bone when one of your creatures perishes, for any reason. So they require previously expired creatures. Stout, you're back. Do you have a secret for me? A rattler. I'll wait until it advances and then place the stout in to attack it. Should be simple, right? So they attack immediately. Alright. We'll draw a card. The bullfrog. Blocks flying, right? A card bearing the sigil will block an opposing creature bearing the airborne sigil. Okay, so that's the anti-flying then. Draw whatever card you like, Air. I really don't know what mechanics will be leading up to. I'd prefer not to be immediately associated with death. From the death of your creature, you've gained a bone. You will not lose this until it is spent, or the battle ends. We do not have anything immediately to use otherwise. So I'll ring that bell. We are out of cards in our deck. I'll draw a squirrel. We will need to be blocking a rattler, I see. Scroll down. And I will wait. I think I might want to put down a wolf next turn rather than preparing a bullfrog, given that that is a defensive card specifically. Ah, there we go. So 2 squirrels. We will use 1 possum to immediately fight the rattler. And I don't yet think we have any flying creatures to worry about. So instead, let's get ourselves a wolf. Ah! And then sacrifices will provide us bones for possum as well. Noted. Interesting. He did say when they die for whatever reason. Welcome, know you. I am equally new to this game, so we have a lot of discoveries to make together. Welcome to the class. Same for you, Shadow Wolf. I don't think I've given you a formal welcome. We have a wonderful little zoo here. Seems we'll be doing just fine.
How brutal of you. You dealt me more damage than you needed to win. However, in my game, such feats are rewarded. To be precise, a tooth to keep for each extra damage dealt. The trapper may be interested in your spoils.
The journey continues.
Oh. I forgot your figurine. Get up and fetch it for me. It's beside the safe.
Ah, we get to choose our little character, don't we? I like the little golem-looking guy. Doesn't look like we have any sort of a mechanical or engineer type character here. So there's discoveries for us to be making.
Let us continue.
Or maybe that was an angel. It looked like it had wings.
The meager coyote. But what did you expect for only 4 bones? The unkillable cockroach. It returns to your hand after dying. The nefarious rattler. A brittle creature. Once past its monstrous fangs.
Back when I did play Hearthstone, I did enjoy the Dreadsteed card, which had a similar mechanic to the cockroach here. A card that would come back every time it would die.
You know you're free to get up again. To keep your blood flowing. I am no tyrant. You may stand whenever this map is unrolled. It allows me time to plan your next encounter. But do keep your hands off my possessions.
Stout's not helping us anymore, is he? Figure shrouded in mystery. I assume this is an index of all the cards that we have. Or something. Maybe an indication of the most basic ones we have. What sort of clock has 3 hands? Okay, so the longest one's supposed to be seconds then, I guess. I've never seen an antique that had a seconds hand. 12:15 in 30 seconds? Let us resume.
A gust from this may lift your creatures into the air, if only for a turn. Its bleeding yields 3 blood, if you can ignore the bleating. Choose one.
I'm not going to go for the visceral answer of pulling out teeth every time I need to have an advantage.
Feeling overburdened enough with a full 3 items, you carried on.
Alright, let's take a look. We have 2 coyotes happening soon. They'll both be attacking us. Yeah, the black goat definitely looked like it would have been a good choice. After all, whenever I play card games, I do enjoy the opportunity to drop down something much bigger. So it looks like normally creatures attacking don't trade 1 for 1, do they? But just in case, no. I'll verify that just in case. Bullfrogs spare me, or grant me a little bit of time. Ah, they do immediately attack. That sacrifices to the coyote. We have 2 bones. The cockroach, which will require 4. I wonder if that's only the first time, or every subsequent time afterwards. Possum, go ahead and block that coyote, or, more accurately, remove it from the board. What was our last card? Are you smart to something? He usually doesn't even bother teaching about bones. Alright, here's a tip. I saw a past victim writing a passcode in the rulebook. So we can only do that once we're at the map. We require a sacrifice. Squirrel, use it or lose it. Okay.
You may only draw a card at the beginning of...
Oh. Well, I just accidentally clicked over there. That was the case. Coyote down. I'll have another squirrel. And pass, because we don't have anything else we need to immediately be doing. Out of cards, are you?
I see the way this is going. I concede. You may accept my surrender, or you may finish the match the slow way.
If we go for the excess damage, he may grant us another tooth. So I will play into that assumption. I guess that means we have to do the sacrifices simultaneously. Okay. So that one's not going to work.
You're out of space. There's no room for that card.
So we are allowed only the 4 lanes here. Looks like we might get 1 excess tooth if we keep it up. Or perhaps more with the with the sacrifice of our possum. See what this does. Huh. Doesn't appear to have made a difference there.
The fervid mantis. Its prying claws strike both to left and right.
That one will allow us to attack simultaneously against multiple enemies. Wolf, not so much. Ah, there we go. Costing but a single blood. So it looks like every time we lose, we may have another card that works for us. That one just has a wonderful amount of stats to take. Alright. Obviously I have to represent myself.
Some bone tokens for a rainy night. If you deem it necessary, you may cut up one of my cards with these. A powerful item. Turn this, and I'll skip my next turn.
I have a feeling we're going to run into a rather large creature soon enough, so I will take the opportunity to outright destroy one of them. I'm not sure how I feel about the skull. So we'll take the rather avian fellow on the left. Ah, a totem. Buffs all of your bird characters, right? Ever look in the rulebook? There's definitely passcodes scrawled in there. They were looking up the bullfrog's sigil. Right. Only while the map is out. So we will have to keep that in mind. An alpha wolf? Looks like they... What do they do? Creatures adjacent to a card bearing the sigil gain 1 power. Airborne? Simple enough. And it has two hearts. We do not immediately have a good way to get it onto the board. Or get something onto the board. We can use the squirrels as a blockade, I guess. There's a lot of mechanics here to figure out. Ah, the boulder counts as having attack while the alpha is there. We will need some offensive damage immediately. Ah, hello, Xander. Do you like squirrels? That should at least slow him down quite a bit. Oh, right. It's just going to attack over the alpha, of course. How silly of me to forget. Well, we're currently in trouble, so I guess I might just have to draw a card first. I'll take a squirrel, just in case. Let's get rid of that little problem before it gets worse. We can tip the scales back in our favor through Xander's assistance. And for now, we'll use the stoat to attack the bat. Total misplay, he says. We have 3 bone tokens. We can place a possum down, which I think I might want to do.
You have me here. I surrender.
Nah. I think I'll try to see if I can get all those cards out of the way first. Get rid of a squirrel. Replace with frog. So it looks like whatever that type of card was attacks back after it receives one. You're not good at card games, aren't you? I do not have a perspective on the mechanics of this game. It's quite different from Hearthstone. I did play that game quite a bit, and I would like to say that I know what I was doing there. Hold on. What's this in the rulebook? We had something around here. Where was it? Ah, that's where it was. Okay. Something about the frog, right? Uh-huh. Okay, so this is where we're going to look for Airborne Defender, right? There's allegedly a passcode here. Went past it already. Da, 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 da. Airborne. So there was an airborne. There it is. 273. Hmm. A stink bug? Oh, hello. I wasn't sure if I would ever escape that iron crypt. Is the stoat around? The stunted wolf? This madness must end.
Put that away.
I don't think I will. You're not exactly going to stop me, are you? So what do we have here? Looks like a set of... So it's another puzzle set up over here. A little combination lock to get through. But what do all these symbols mean? The skink, huh?
I forgot I had put that there. Very well. You may add it to your deck, and I'll deal you one every so often.
So we have a couple of things to do outside the game to earn us a few more cards. Right here, looks like we have to make an arrangement that deals a certain amount of damage to our opponent. Is that what we have here? Getting closer. So it's an indication of how much damage we can do to the opponent, right? That's what it looks like. Slightly higher. If you want to, you look at the sigils in the rule book. I see the blocking one here. I don't yet know what that one means. So I guess that's a test of our various mechanics and seeing what we know about them. Little lizard-looking one. What was that? Loose tail. When a card bearing the sigil would be struck, a tail is created in its place and a card bearing the sigil moves to the right. Alright, so we have a chain of them that move out of the way. So it gets attacked, it leaves something in its place, and then moves over to the right. So this is testing our knowledge of the game mechanics here. Error, I will not stand for your mockery. I am having to divert half of my brain power towards keeping the class in line. A rambunctious sort, you are. I wonder if that means we can use them to block. Almost. But we can't move that one from that space. I'm kidding, Error. Always having a little bit of fun, but here, I'm trying to understand specifically what mechanics it's trying to get me to work with here. Looks like we can only slide these vertically. Ah!
Formidable creatures, those ants. Very well. I will add them to your deck and make them available for future challengers.
So that's how we win. We get a larger deck of allegedly more powerful cards. Does that mean that the flying blocker card also counts as flying? Ah, this one's just not in play whatsoever. Okay. I get it. But what does the ant symbol mean? Take a look at our little book here. What do we got? The value represented with the sigil will be equal to the number of ants that the owner has on their side of the table. And then we do something to spawn them. Right. Ant spawner. When a card bearing the sigil is played, an ant is created in your hand. So they fill your hand with, presumably, I'm going to guess, 1 attack, 1 health cards once they're played. This one attacks the diagonal spaces, and this one grants extra attack to the ones surrounding it, it looks like. We don't need the extra attack over there, so let's try. Okay. Huh, explain that one to me.
Without having met her, this wood carving is meaningless. In time, you will understand its power.
Let's look at that one real quick. I wonder how that one counts as doing more damage. But I haven't yet read all the mechanics yet, have I? I guess that has to do with the extra attack from the diagonals. Probably. Let's ignore that last puzzle. Let's sit down and see what we got here. In the bear trap.
You were stopped along the way by a trapper looking to liquidate his pelts. There was something uncanny about his appearance, but you were quickly distracted by his wares.
So what does the trapper sound like? Care to look at me pelts? Take a pelt, free of charge. See the quality? Alright, see you soon, know you? I'm guessing this is... No, I'm not leaving yet. Please, consider me, pelts. Yeah, but what's the price tag? Teeth, it looks like. I'm guessing that's a teeth symbol. Given the knives here, do these count as a sacrifice? We have 4. Might as well. I see. Very well. We'll take an understanding of what's going on here. Thanks for your business.
The man assured you of the value of the pelts. They appear to be useless in a fight, but he mentioned that the trader further down the path would reward you for them.
"7 days, and he hasn't yet gotten back to the drawing there. I know drawing is a very expensive and time-consuming thing. He might be busy, or he might even be sick. I notice a lot of my friends, including myself, have been very ill as of late. In fact, right now, I'm going to excuse myself to blow my nose real quick. Ah, much better. Okay. I can finally breathe again. That was getting tiresome for the longest time. Another sacrifice to be made, huh? Stoat's willing to sacrifice himself, huh? A 1-3 for 1 blood is pretty simplistic. Very well. Fell ill over the weekend, mostly fine now. It's been years since you've been sick. Yeah, I don't think I've actually been officially ill in about 2 years prior. Marvelous, he says. Okay, so that's just what we sacrifice. No, take you back. And we can't take a moment to... Oh, wait, we can right-click that. Creature opposing a card bearing the sigil loses 1 power. I kinda like that symbol. No, put you back. Okay, and now is someone for us to sacrifice, so we can't use... We can't use a blank card on the bottom. We have to sacrifice something with a special ability. Yeah? Alright. The very, very stinky stoat. A smelly boy. It's me, he says. We have a couple of extra cards. We can't yet use the rabbit pelt. I imagine that's just going to stuff our deck with useless cards. A wolf cub. So we'll see if that counts as reducing its attack the instant it gets up here. If that does, then we have a way to immediately block that wolf cub before it evolves. And there we go. I require more functional cards, thank you. Skink isn't being used for anything just yet. Wolf ahead. We will want something with 2 attack, and quite soon. We need damage. And we have another wolf cub coming up soon. Only 1 attack. So a black goat requires a single sacrifice. Would have been better to have a squirrel for that one then. One of your friends told me to work with them. You still need to finish the animation, but you wait for them because they are working for free and work as like a god. It's very nice to be part of collaborative projects like that. And I'm not sure why it's taking so long. When was the last time you spoke with them? Communication usually helps. What are you doing? What are you doing with your hand up there? So this can block 1 attack. Suppose we'll have to sacrifice it. Alright, so now we'll want to use a squirrel. Sacrifice that to the goat. And I wonder if we essentially have blood left over after sacrificing this. We'll see. It does not give us excess blood. Very well. Possum, go ahead and get rid of our wolf cub. I'll take a squirrel just for an emergency sacrifice next turn, where it will be necessary. Cockroach, good. Excess damage, so we get plenty of teeth. Oh, right! A fork in the road. I wonder what's going on outside there. Do you have an answer for me, mister? Let's just solve ourselves another little puzzle real quick. Almost. There we go. A caged wolf.
Curious.
I can barely make out his face. Wonder what's with all the little trinkets here. Just other little gimmicks and gadgets to look at. I do very much like the setup. It's sort of a suspenseful point-and-click game. I'd actually like to play more point-and-click games on this channel. What about some, old Sam and Max? Absolute classics there. I've been thinking about it.
You encountered a small outpost in the woods, tended by a mysterious woman. It was the trader that the old trapper had mentioned. Her appearance was unsettling, but you were mollified by her offerings.
Looks like an old lady face.
You don't mind if I examine those pelts of yours?
He doesn't answer your texts for 3 days, but tomorrow you're gonna call them. For your next animation, you're gonna work with somebody else. Preferably one with a more positive reputation, I would say.
Let's start with your hair pelts. Here's what I can offer.
Ooh, nice selection.
I can trade you any of these. Take your time.
What's this one do? Sprinter, at the end of the owner's turn, a card bearing the sigil will move in the direction inscribed in the sigil. Ah, we have positional mechanics. A personal favorite of mine. You don't get enough of those in Hearthstone. Mole, when an empty space would be struck, a card bearing the sigil will move to that space to receive the strike instead. Another sacrificial goat. Oh, I didn't mean to take it. But, alright. We're not having enough minions die for us to be using too many bones yet. An infinite number of sacrifices, huh? I have a feeling that one will probably work for us best, so long as we draw it.
These pelts are most excellent. My thanks.
Oh, that's gonna be very rough to do. We have an opportunity, presumably, to strengthen on the left, but let's see what these other sigils represent. Ah, another point of sacrifice, I see. Let's go ahead and use our possum, since it can be reliably summoned through 2 bones. Bullfrog as well isn't helping us much, but, what would be interesting is if we basically gave ourselves a half-cost cockroach, huh? I will definitely be playing Franbro. Something else. Yeah, cockroach on something else. Which, basically, we just cut its cost in half, but that might actually be very, very interesting. Especially,
My boss battles are high-stakes tests of your aptitude. With one flame, you will either overcome them or die. Fear not. I will let you keep the smoke.
so the theory there is that the possum might refund half of its cost every time it dies. So we could use it as something very, very difficult to get rid of. In essence, a sticky card. Do a good voice for this one. Wouldn't it still be his standard narration? I'm not sure what different voice I would use for this one. The trees seemed to close in around you as a chill mist descended. In the distance, you could hear the clinking of metal on stone. A hobbled figure stood in your path. Oh, there's Pardon me, I'm going to need a drink for this one. Oh, I am out of water. I will return here in a moment once I have properly prepared myself for this. This is going to be very, very painful to do. Grant me a second. Oh, I am going to absolutely hate myself for this. And a 3, 2, 1.
What's the prospect?
That's just immediately going back into Doofenshmirtz level. And I am shouting in the mic.
'Twas the prospector.
Oh, God. I just absolutely destroyed the mic there, didn't I? Let me turn that gain back up. So what does the smoke here do? Bone King. When a card bearing the sigil dies, 4 bones are awarded instead of 1. It doesn't look like that will actually have much of an opportunity cost to us. Pack Mule there is just a block, so we'll use the smoke here to block a coyote. And perhaps soon we'll be able to use the wolf down there. Fare thee well, Shadow Wolf, and thank you for your attendance. Welcome to the class. I hope you stay.
Shh.
So many bones.
That's almost sounding like Doofenshmirtz again. I will take another squirrel, place that down, sacrifice them both for the wolf, and then use that to attack the coyote. Wolf Cub is pretty simple. Most of the cards we'd have here would require a blood sacrifice. So I'll take another squirrel immediately, and put myself here on the board. Or, of course, I could have just sacrificed the wolf, that's right. Xander, you'll learn one of these days. Right, we're flying. Of course. Draw from our cards. think I need the damage more than I need the flying. Very well. Soon, we should be able to draw a cockroach, hopefully. Or, our possum, which has a replicated effect. And unfortunately, we have lost our infinite sacrifice card. Worker ant. Requires 1 blood. Nothing yet. We can afford to take a little bit of damage. Indeed, we're far ahead. Ah!
I hope you didn't think it would be that easy.
I'm trying to find not quite Doofenshmirtz, but also not going to destroy my voice.
There's gold in them cards. Gold! I've struck gold!
Oh, Christ. Your
Your platypus dealt me 2 damage, but my damage...
Oh, I'm clipping the mic again. Let me turn that down. Back up a bit.
Your platypus dealt me 2 damage, but my damaginator will defeat you instantly.
That voice is exceptionally easy for everyone to do. That's one of the stock impressions that just about everyone is capable of. We will want 1 attack damage as soon as possible on the coyote. So, that will require a squirrel sacrifice. Hopefully, we'll draw the possum soon. Very soon.
Get him!
Wolf Cub. And it does require a sacrifice. But we do not have any barriers to put up immediately. We're set back to neutral on our scale here. What the Bloodhound does. Guardian. When an imposing creature is placed opposite to an empty space, a card bearing this sigil will move to that empty space. So it's basically a taunt in Hearthstone. It will always occupy that space and be in your way, essentially. We require a sacrifice basically as soon as possible. And we do not currently have anything aside from the pliers, so I'll take a squirrel. We can just use that as a barrier for the moment. Although that won't deal the damage we want. Instead, I think we can actually afford to take a little bit of damage. Instead, use the wolf cub, sacrifice the squirrel, and place it... Ah, of course. How irresponsible of me to forget. At least that disrupts the Bloodhound a little bit. Let's hope we can draw something... with bones here. A bullfrog. Not quite. We'll still be 1 token ahead. So I'm gonna take a guess. Squirrel there. Worker ant will give us a regular ant when we use it. So that's the amount of damage it should do. Don't know how much you wait to see the voice on these characters. Ah! So there's the tail to escape with. and that will blockade the wolf cub, but only for a moment. We do need to kill the mule, indeed.
It's hard to call it cowardly.
We'll be able to do damage to the mule immediately here. I really need one of those bone cards. Ah! Gives us plenty of cards in our hand.
Dagnabbit, my mule!
Alright. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. First we look in our supply here. Turkey vulture, adder, very good, porcupine. What does that do? Once a card bearing the sigil is struck, the striker is then dealt a single damage point. Okay. A squirrel, another, the ant queen. Caged wolf. Or 2 blood sacrifices. It's actually 8:25, not 8:30. Well, welcome back early. Thank you, know you? We'll need to make an adjustment pretty much immediately. Though that flying means that we're not actually going to attack whatever's in the way here. Come on, there we go. Squirrel there. We'll want something with 2 attack basically as soon as possible. Or, the porcupine can serve as a very good blocker. Sacrifice the squirrel here, and it will block the wolf, and then cause the wolf to take 1 more damage. We have plenty of bone tokens, so I think we can go ahead with the turkey vulture. And it doesn't matter where we place it, because the bloodhound's going to come over anyway. Yeah, we have plenty of tokens to spare. Welcome, Astra. We are playing Inscryption, a recently released indie card game roguelike hybrid, with some rather suspicious, almost horror-like elements. Ah, very far ahead there. Porcupine trades 1 for 1 with the wolf. If we go ahead and use a squirrel, sacrifice that for the bullfrog, and then the bullfrog will immediately damage the bloodhound. After that, the turkey vulture basically attacks face, and we are left with a win. I assume he's back to his normal voice yet. He's no longer wearing the prospector mask.
Allow me to light your candles once more. I won't be killing you quite yet. You're the first in a while to overcome a boss. As a reward, you will be granted an opportunity to select a rare card. Choose carefully. I have no words for this freak of nature.
Is it really just a neck just extending off this screen? Sprint and toxic, it looks like.
This level of brutish strength needs no explanation. The uninspiring Gek. Perhaps you can find a use for it.
You may laugh, Error, but if you fought me in Hearthstone, I'd guarantee you I would win. 4 blood sacrifices. If we can reliably land our hands on a goat, that could be an ace in the hole, essentially. Although we were building up a lot of bone tokens last game, and if we stack up enough bone cards in our deck, then we can just go ahead and have a lot of cards that we can play without needing blood sacrifices. A 0 cost 1/1 is very good. An interesting choice. Welcome, Z. You have come in at just the right time. You know what? I'll take a free card, although it doesn't draw us anything else. Usually a card like that would have a draw effect would probably be better.
With sound of the prospector's pickaxe still ringing in your ears, you carried onwards. The rank smell of rotten mold permeated the humid air. Every step forward was answered by some nearby slip or slither. You tread cautiously into the wetlands.
I am confident that I can beat you because I'm an absolute genius once I learn the mechanics of a game. Sure, it might take me a while to learn here, but I learn very, very quickly.
You arrived at the inky black mouth of a cave.
Nice eyes.
A strange beast looked within. It spoke.
In a raspy voice. Hold on. Let me take another drink real quick. Oh, let's see if I can still growl.
It spoke.
That's one of my trials, and I will be yours.
In a raspy voice. Needs a little bit more practice. It's been a while since I worked on my metal screaming. Something like that.
3 creatures will be drawn from your deck. They will decide your success or failure. It spoke again.
But first, you will choose a trial.
That's not gonna work. At a certain point in the game, the plot will kill you. You have no choice. Yeah, the Stout did tell us about how we were going up against a cheater, essentially. And as it is a roguelike, I imagine death is very important.
The Trial of Blood. The 3 drawn cards must cost at least 4 blood combined to pass. The Trial of Bones. The 3 drawn cards must cost at least 5 bones combined to pass. Or the Trial of Health. The 3 drawn cards must have at least 6 health combined to pass.
We have a very good chance for a high roll if we pull Xander here. I've had a decent couple of tanky cards in here. We also have a generally high amount of blood costs, so I think... Why don't we go for the blood trial?
Let the trial of blood begin.
Hey!
2 from the Ant Queen. 1 from the Worker Ant. 2 from the Wolf. You have passed the trial. The beast revealed itself. It was...
Oh, we have a choice. A river snapper with flying blocker, a raven egg. With the Bone King. Or a rat king. I'll pick the low-cost Raven Egg because we're definitely wanting to get something that costs very little. We have a lot of blood cost in our deck. With that combination there, we can probably try to get more bone-related cards that can work instead. Never seen you when you play a series. The only thing you can say is, I need to be scared. Well, if these games have a multiplayer opportunity, I'd be very glad to. The only game I know of that I do have an existing proper card collection in would be Hearthstone. Unless there's plenty of other free games out there, but I would have to learn those mechanics.
The inhabited Raven Egg joined your menagerie.
A campfire to strengthen, or what seems to be a pot or a backpack. Ah, an item. We could definitely use an emergency thing to help us. We only have about 3 bone-related cards in our deck, so we're not worried about the tokens so much as... Oh, what was this? Creatures will attack as though they have the airborne sigil this turn. We don't usually have enough cards on the board. I think an emergency squirrel might be best. Ah, multiple choices. If I know anything about card games, it's being able to get rid of one card immediately is an incredibly powerful boon. Are you watching an ex-Yu-Gi-Oh player? Unfortunately, no. You are watching an ex-Hearthstone player. I did read the Yu-Gi-Oh manga, though, which unfortunately will not actually teach you much about the mechanics, given that the entire storyline of the manga, and by extension the anime, basically was, how much can Yugi cheat? What's our first card over here? Quills on the Bullfrog. So we'll want something that can give a hit and hopefully take it. And that's just what it gives to everyone. That stump will be a very good barrier for us, since the wolf cub shouldn't take very long to evolve, and we have no other lanes contested. Let's go ahead and place that wolf cub there. Ah, placing up your barricades, are you? Luckily, that's not going to put much of a stop to us. I definitely want a squirrel. We'll go ahead and place this here. And then use it to block the bullfrog as soon as possible next turn. After all, a wolf will immediately be able to get rid of it, but also still have 1 HP to survive afterwards. Ah, right. Of course, the alpha makes the stump, for some reason, very aggressive. Which that was overall a very bad decision. We can get rid of the coyote immediately, basically, if we... Right, Xander's flying. We can't do that. Of course. But that bullfrog is a flying blocker, so presumably it gets attacked by, well, me. And taking 1 damage.
Did I neglect to mention overkill damage? Excess damage is not wasted. It carries over to the card behind the mangled corpse of the victim. Lucky for you.
But that was an adder back there with the toxic effects. Indeed, thorns and immediately killing. We might be in trouble. Nah, I think I'll let Xander stay up. We'll have to draw a card first. Let's go ahead and stock up on squirrels, so that we can pull out a wolf pretty soon. Can I just not do this until you're up here? Suppose that's the case. Very well, a high cost, so we'll have to wait. Ouch. We're definitely in trouble. We'll probably want an emergency wolf pretty soon, so I'll go ahead and grab a squirrel here. Snip up the adder, since I assume that thorn in combination with its poisonous effect means it would immediately kill whatever it contests with. Coyote is not much of a problem, so we will use a wolf here to attack it. And then end the turn. And get rid of this bot while we're getting rid of cards off the table. We are in trouble. Ah, the Gek. Arriving to save the day, but we cannot use it to attack the bullfrog just yet. Tip the scales. We'll need more actual cards to play soon enough. The wolf is giving us enough damage that we'll be able to get ourselves a little bit in the lead here. And until he actually contests it, we don't have much to worry about, do we? Skink escapes to the right, I believe. Indeed. We can use that to slow the bullfrog down. And then it can go ahead with attacking the stump afterwards. Gives us another lane to go down. Did we just last long enough? Oh no. We dealt enough damage with the wolf because he never contested it with anything else. A choice to be made.
The elusive otter. It submerges itself during my turn.
Whatever the heck this is.
The inviolable beehive. When it is attacked, you will draw a bee.
1 power, 1 health, airborne. A little bit of extra damage for us. Sharp quills. Guardian. Okay, so that's an emergency 1 attack barrier. Basically, in any direction. Waterborne. A card bearing the sigil submerges itself during its opponent's turn. While submerged, opposing creatures attack its owner directly. So it's basically 1 damage we can give to the opponent that we can't contest, but it will also attack any 1 health creatures in the way, and then can't get removed itself too quickly. The choice here is easy. We're going for bees. A campfire, huh? Life +2.
A group of starving survivors stood around a dying campfire. There's room for a creature around the fire, one said. The warmth will enhance its health, said another. One of the survivors said nothing at all, but could not stop licking their lips.
Now we have a very interesting situation here. I wonder... We're upgrading the beehive. We're gonna fill the beehive with even more bees.
The health of the beehive was enhanced by the warmth. When the survivors began pulling a knife from their pocket, you withdrew.
See, the more health that beehive has, the more bees we get. And we could always use more bees. Perfect. See if you have anything 1 health to oppose, or 1 damage. Kingfisher, that is a submerged and airborne. Very difficult to contest those. Infinite sacrifices there. All of those are airborne, so we don't get to do too much with them yet. I will go ahead and... Don't mess with those cards there. We're still using them. We can put the beehive in the way, but it's not going to attack, it's only going to receive attacks. And we cannot do anything with it yet because, since it has 0 attacks, it's not going to fight any of the flying creatures. We do not have a way to immediately raise its attack either, so we'll need to use something else. I will pass this first turn, and then we will use 2 squirrels as a sacrifice to that wolf. So basically, with the fact that the kingfishers are submerged and airborne, they're generally impossible to interact with. So it appears we will use 2 squirrels, sacrifice them both to our wolf, and from there we will have an indefinite number of sacrifices there. Although, if we had that one opposing one of the kingfishers, it could basically never be removed under the right circumstances. So we might have made a mistake there. Skink, sacrifice our wolf, and attack the bat. Exactly! Since we can't interact with those cards, we have to just out-DPS them the entire time. We have infinite sacrifices with that beehive, basically. Or with that wolf. Well, hello there. We don't want to block that space with the beehive just yet, but we don't have a way to get rid of those kingfishers, do we? I will pass until we have a turn that we can properly use that possum, and with its ability to recycle itself. Flying blocker. Perfect. Make that oppose one of the kingfishers. And I'll use the possum to block something because it will refund half of its death counter, which would require it to actually die. It's more useful to us when it actually gets KO'd. Not that we get to use it in that match regardless. So another deck building test on the left, it looks like. Further strengthening. Let's take our path to the right here. River Otter, Adder, or the Bountiful Warren. It spawns a rabbit when it is played. When a card bearing the sigil is played, a rabbit is created in your hand. 0 power, 1 health. Not particularly useful, is it? A very good defensive wall, though. but we don't really have much that synergizes with it. I'll go ahead and take the river otter, just as a bit of uncontestable DPS. Really, the reason why I'm here is the campfire. You've already heard this dialogue. We are buffing the health of one of our cards. Stout still speaks to us. Our wolf card is very, very good, and I'd like to see it be harder to kill. We could, of course, get more bees, though. I was hoping we could actually get attack on this beehive, but you know what? More bees. We need more bees.
The survivors were right about those flames. They had enhanced the creature's health.
I don't know why you'd want to eat a beehive. Maybe the honey within it, but the beehive itself? No. Absolutely not. Ho-ho! The beehive returns to us. What is this? Guardian. Okay. So everyone's going to be opposed by bees, basically, here. 2 kingfishers are in the way. We might want some flying blockers. We can place the otter down to basically, or well, the stoat to block one of the kingfishers from battle completely. What is my cat doing? Ah, hold on, the cat wants out. Give me a moment. Be free, you little rascal. Formulate a strategy here. I'll go ahead and sacrifice the squirrel immediately to the stoat. And the stoat will block one of the kingfishers, so at least sets back on the DPS to start with. Now we'll want some offensive power. Although, you don't have anything to be doing with the sparrow yet, especially since the stoat is blocking you off. We have the pliers, but that's about it for our little tokens. Welcome, Broham, by the way. Let's get ourselves some bees. That will suffice. That should stall us for time a little bit. We will need a lot of DPS to get past that, though. Ah, hello there. We'll need you to die, though. An ant is created in your hand. We'll need to place the beehive somewhere where it takes damage, or the possum, because we want this thing to recycle for as many KOs as we can get. We currently need DPS, so bee goes here. And while we have the damage over time, we'll be able to keep those scales basically locked there. Thank you for the bee, my good friend. Ah, hello, me. It's a card game, so Broham and Kayla can definitely focus on trying to slow down and teach the mechanics if you'd like a better perspective on what the heck we're supposed to be doing here. So, we have 2 river otters here, which basically means that I don't attack them back since they make themselves invincible on our opponent's turn. Instead, we basically need to have high damage cards opposite of them to basically keep the damage going up. The beehive here gives me a bee every time it takes damage, so we currently have it tanking the coyote here, since we'll need, well, bees for sacrifices. I wonder if Flying Xander goes over that stump. Let's give that a test. Thank you for the bee, my good man. Goes over the stump, indeed. Okay. The beehive has just been KO'd. We will draw... Since we have bees and a possum, go ahead and draw another card. Wolf is exceptional, but we basically have a full board here, so we're not going to make too much use of the infinite sacrifices. Now, we get to use the very, very fun card I've been looking forward to. The possum here requires 2 death tokens, so basically 2 of our minions have to die. But when this possum dies, it returns to our hand. Basically, it refunds half of its cost every time it dies. It'll attack the coyote, everything goes over, and it looks like we've won. Which we're still not getting to use the possum yet. Now, if we could have a Gek that basically returns itself every turn, that would be incredible. We will be routing to the campfire, so it's like sacrificing. Exactly. Except, that's basically what the blood counters are like. You have to sacrifice a card currently on the board. The bone counters mean that you sacrifice a card that has previously perished.
You must make a different kind of choice now. Choose not a specific beast, but decide the cost that you wish to pay.
Given that we're running a pretty costly deck and we've been running out of cards pretty frequently, I'm gonna go for a simple 1-cost card.
A random card with a cost of 1. What were you expecting?
Something better than a Warren, but that does slow us down and give us a sacrifice opportunity. With the rabbit that it would give us. Now what I'm hoping for here is possibly an attack boost, which we could give to our beehive.
Enhance its power.
Oh! Do we get to pop? Yes! Yes! Give me the powerful beehive.
You suspected the intentions of the survivors were less than pure. With your beehive in tow, you retreated into the woods.
Looks like another boss here, huh? And presumably an instance which we are guaranteed to die, perhaps?
A foul smell invaded your nostrils and caused your throat to seize. A hulking man sat by a brackish pond with his feet submerged in dark water. He pulled a hook from the pile of rotting fish, and rose to his feet.
I wonder what this guy would sound like.
I am the angler. Go fish.
Ah, so basically we were guaranteed the death card. That's basically what it was setting up for. The smoke gives us extra bones. Costs nothing. Well then, let's go ahead and see if we can get ourselves a very powerful head start. Kingfisher is not a problem, and in fact, what we'll want to do here is sacrifice both of these and place the wolf in opposition to it. Since the Kingfisher does not interact, basically, unless we had a flying blocker, the wolf will always be dealing 3 damage to face. He doesn't have anything else, so we will use the indefinite sacrifices and place another little wolf cub there. An excellent starting hand. We've already almost won.
Which fish? Hard choose.
He's gonna get rid of that one, so we'll want to use its sacrificing power as much as possible. Kingfisher, not much of a problem. Let's go ahead and...
Rusher.
Hold on. Pressure fish. Easy choose. So he's going to hook the most recently spawned card, it looks like. But does this mean we've already won? Right. He has 2 candles to snuff out. Go, fish. A barrier for each one. Let's keep it going strong. We'll want to use those infinite sacrifices while we can. So, we'll go ahead and place another wolf down. The entire pack is here.
Go fish.
Ah, so they'll pop up with random minions afterwards. Well, it looks like we're in trouble. But is there a way to interact with the submerged cards? We are currently in trouble. That just means he wins, doesn't it? Oh no! We still had enough of an advantage. Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Let me relight your candles.
I'm having fun. This is wonderful.
Very well. You may choose a rare card.
Do we get more bees?
Largely unimpressive specimen. The prudent pack rat. Never doubt the utility of a well-stocked pack.
And another Gek. Yes, I see your bee puns, but I'm currently trying to focus on what was previously a boss battle. Trinket Bearer. When a card bearing this sigil is played, you receive a random item as long as you have less than 3. I like that, actually. Let's go ahead and pick the pack rat. Yes, I see the bee puns. I am paying a lot of attention to them.
You considered one of the angler's catches as a meal, but the rank odor deterred you. Dinner would have to wait.
Sorry, Error, I've already made my choice. I'm gonna guess it turns into something powerful, but I kind of want the little trinkets.
Let me see. A frigid gust of wind billowed, unwelcome, into your lungs.
Well, in that case...
The beauty of the falling snow failed to distract you from the chill in your bones. You had ascended to the snow line.
Why don't we take a look around real quick? This has changed here. Something outside of the game. But what does the potted plant mean? I knew there had to be more going on. We'd already looked in the safe. We'd already looked at the character pieces here. Why don't we... Of course. Simply uninteractable. Solved that by accident. I'm guessing little potted plant here. But what do we interact with it? Presumably with a plant like this, we'd use a little bit of water or sunlight, right? Oh. We can place it on the barrel. Doesn't look like there's much more for us to interact with. You can re-roll with the clover. Okay. Well, let's take a seat then.
You've plucked that from the oil painting. You must not like the cards that I deal you. Fine.
Again, the same. Have at least 3 sigils among them. We don't have very many multi-sigil cards. We still have a relatively expensive blood deck, so we'll go ahead and test that there. Perfect. I kind of like the cockroach. That gives us even more bees. We'll just invest in as many bees as possible. Another pot. You now can't stop because of the bees. I'm guessing this means we get to remove some less pleasant cards from our deck.
You came across some familiar stones, but there's something different. You intuited that the fate of the creature selected for this would not be pleasant.
So this is a card we just want to get rid of completely from our deck. I'm not too concerned with all the work. Warren. Yeah. Let's get rid.
You callously slaughtered the Warren. However, the Bone Lord was pleased by your sacrifice. A minor boon of the Bone Lord. You will start each battle with 1 extra bone.
Perfect for our deck that should be allegedly recycling itself.
You shook off the viscera of the poor Warren and carried onwards.
I hope Leviathan is not currently lurking the stream because she will kill me for sacrificing that Warren. I'm going to wake up to find my home with a giant hole blown in it.
A nice start.
A nice start. Turkey vulture is going to be a big problem, so we need to oppose it basically as soon as possible. Raven egg becomes more powerful when it's on board. And when it dies, we get way more bones. Oh no, Leviathan is watching. Hey, Leviathan. No harm done, right? Nice start. Yeah, I killed the Warren of Rabbits, and, Leviathan's not going to be happy about that. let's go ahead and grab ourselves some more Ah, Gek. Perfect. Very stinky. Is your lab located near water? No, it is actually basically as far away from water as possible, in the middle of a bunch of canyons. I, might have appropriated someone else's observatory to use for my own nefarious purposes. Or should I say, morally ambiguous purposes. The skunk is going to lower the attack of our Gex, so we can't really do too much with that right now. We might use a sacrifice for the pack rat in a moment. For now, I will pass. We might be in trouble. Right, flying, of course. Give me something good, please. We would lose by 1 HP otherwise. So, we do have a cockroach. I'm unfortunately going to have to do this. Why? 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 Leviathan is very angry. Don't worry, you have a human form for a reason. That reason is so you can walk on land. But can you carry all of your other armaments with you when you do that? We currently basically have a lot of barriers here. So we can't make much use of the cockroach. At least, not yet. Heck, we might even have to sacrifice the raven after enough time. We need that attack, though. We have 2 candles. Unfortunate.
How disappointing.
Alright, try that again. We have another trapper, so we can get... That's the same person, right? I can't remember the voice. What did we do for the trapper?
I've got the most exquisite pelts.
Something like that. And plenty of teeth to trade.
Burston's free.
That is 8. We'll make our trades. Okay, so we touch it right there. Got it.
Much appreciated.
I love this guy, even if he's planning on killing us. Aw, we could have had a campfire from that side. The pliers, basically tilt the scale 1 more point in our favor by, sacrificing one of our teeth. What's a good low-cost guy we can use? I think you know. Aw, we can't... Hold on. Aw, we can't sacrifice one of our recycling minions. Darn. Well, obviously we have to upgrade the Gek. Pack Rat is a little too costly, but he has a very powerful effect. So let's just give him to the Gek. Don't worry, you have a powerful Sans. You will protect me. We can fight rabbits together. I'd more so beg Leviathan for forgiveness. Not out of the unpleasant battle to follow, but just because I'd rather there not be any animosity between the two of us. Alright, we are here at this fight again, so we will need... The Wolf Cub can get rid of the Turkey Vulture very, very soon. Good night, know you, and thank you for your attendance. I hope you've enjoyed your time here in the classroom. We might need some offensive damage very soon. We have a flying enemy to oppose up there. Sparrow is not much of a problem. Ah, perfect. We will need 2 sacrifices for that, though. Squirrel. I think we'll keep that so that we can sacrifice it next turn. We can take 1 more damage, essentially. Although, our wolf is basically unopposed. Alright, now we make things turn around. Squirrel. Place 2 of them down. Sacrifice 2 squirrels for a wolf. We'll want to get rid of the raven egg basically as soon as possible. Right. Then we can sacrifice the wolf to the stoat, which will block the sparrow. Perfect. While we have the infinite sacrifice there, I think we might want to try to pile on as many of the high-cost cards as we can. Excellent board setup here. Get a squirrel just in case, and we will leave the board as it is. That snowy fur basically blocks him as much as it blocks me. And while I'm already winning, I'll just take it basically being the same. Rabbit pelt unfortunately does nothing for us, so we'll leave that on the side. What did the trader sound like?
Show me some exquisite pelts.
Something like that. I'll need a list of voices.
Hair pelts.
Interesting selection. Great White does a lot of damage to enemies and is a very high blood cost. Ooh, what does this bug do? At the end of the owner's turn, a card bearing the sigil will move in the direction inscribed in the sigil. Creatures in the way will be pushed in the same direction. Okay. Don't be pacifist. Think about the free EXP. I was doing the attacks there. We just didn't need the extra damage is the thing. The mole is kind of a good tank and a bit of a stall opportunity. I think that might actually be one of our better choices. As powerful as the Great White looks, we're not usually that far ahead that we can afford that kind of a sacrifice. I'll go for a mole. It's gonna be interesting. Get these bots out of my classroom. I teach humans, not robots. We can take 2. I like the look of the mantis. Mantis is probably gonna be fun. Bet a card in exchange for the wolf pelt. Ooh. For 3 blood on a sacrifice, but that's 2 blood for the cost. When a card bearing this sigil is played, you may search your deck for any card and take it into your hand. Okay, hold on. That one gives me the most momentum possible. If I draw that and sacrifice 2, then I get to draw another important card.
You have my gratitude.
This is gonna go on for a while, isn't it? I'm surprised we've gotten so far. I'll take an emergency removal. I know how important that one is. Bone tokens. Interesting choice, but let's do it. The free XP from Leviathan? Leviathan is my absolute best VTuber friend. Why would I ever try to start a fight with her? Absolutely not. Not happening. Loose tail. And then... And then a mole man, which basically just blocks a lot of damage from us. But the moose buck is... We'll move in the direction inscribed in the sigil, so it's gonna move over to this slot soon. We'll probably want a skink to sacrifice very or a tail to sacrifice, essentially. Cockroach will be very wonderful and self-sufficient once we can actually get it out. And then you move. Okay. We'll need 2 sacrifices. Let's go ahead and put a squirrel down, which should block 1 attack. And then the skink should create a tail that we might be able to use for a sacrifice. Hopefully. No. We're left with just another death counter. Fine. That card is too powerful. I must just get rid of it. We almost have a death counter that we can play the cockroach. I'll take a squirrel before I do anything else. Get rid of you. I would not sacrifice Leviathan for all the fame in the world, Error. As much as you may love the joke to present there. We can build up for a big blood sacrifice soon. We're not too far behind on the health. We only have 3 counters. Unfortunately. Or, you know, you just go ahead and use an extra few right here. Cockroach will attack the elk fawn, eventually take damage, and provide us with an ever so important bee. We have a lot of high-cost cards and we can start filling up our hand with them. That's what we're looking forward to. And we'll need something to tank. Or we could just begin a search. That only applies when it's attacked, so we need that cockroach to be attacked. Bullfrog only blocks one attack here. We could be in trouble, but we'll go ahead and take the risk. And there we have the bee.
Were you as unfaltering as a cockroach?
Alright, now we have to make a very, very big play. Squirrel. B. And then we can sacrifice them both, or... That one has an evasive tail. Ant Queen can take 2 damage counters. So I'll put you here. You require a blood sacrifice. I will do that after I place down another cockroach. Alright. It looks like we have 3 death counters, so no tricks for us yet. I'll accept a squirrel sacrifice for our worker ant, and then that should raise the power of each of our ants in turn. Perfect. Death counter goes up. And while your board is full, I don't really have to worry about... Let's draw ourselves an actual card. Perfect. So, cockroach goes here. Place ourselves a bee here, but then replace it with a stoat. With a little stoat pull. I wouldn't think so. You're attacking him and then fighting the next guy who will be attacking... Well, they're not going to be moving very much, are they? You think you're the only force of evil in the chat. Why don't you show up for more, You'll have fun on the Noida stream on Wednesday then, since you can definitely be as sadistic as you like on that day. Stoat prefers to stay in the hand. Oh, okay. Very weird choice, but I'll allow it. The beehive. Perfect. We'll let the cockroach get struck, and then beehive comes out. Wolf cub. cute. Still have plenty of barriers in the way, so we don't need to worry about taking damage just yet. Okay, there we go. I gave you freedom to kill on that day because that's the entire purpose of Noida. I will accept your concession. In this case, we're not going for the extra damage in case I do have a potential mistake to make. That cockroach is fun though, I like the fact that it refunds itself so well. Turkey Vulture. High guaranteed damage. The Covetous Magpie can fetch any card in your deck. But the Flightly Elk, it moves after attacking. I like the card search mechanics, so we're gonna build up on that since it lets us specifically search for whatever strategy we'd like to employ. Whatever might be best for us. Another one, which provides us health. Don't want to be a part of it, do you? If we give the cockroach more health, then we can just get lots and lots of bees out of it. Okay, think about this though.
Spotting a few of the survivors drooling, you made a hasty retreat with your cockroach.
I guess this is Fallout if they're trying to look for some roach meat here. Little, gross of a thing to eat. If you're free to kill, it's not much fun. The consequences make it so much funnier. Well, I will definitely panic if you vote for, say, bombs popping up on the streamer when Noida comes around. Or, even on Dead Cells, that has an opportunity for, Twitch viewers to interact. You can take control of the boss, even, and command it to use specific attacks against me. Sadly, I wish more games had more YouTube integration, as opposed to Twitch. Right, you really wanted to come at the start of the stream, but you fell asleep. Hey, I mean, VOD will always be open, and I might even do a second Inscryption stream this week, depending on what happens on Saturday. I would like to get in more fighting game time, as that's basically what I started with, but so far I have an audience for everything else, basically.
A man stood before you. A man you recognized immediately. It was the trapper. You reached out to examine his wares, but he stopped you.
Sorry, but today you will supply the pearls.
Ooh, knives. It's like I'm playing Undertale again. A perfect start. Do these cards attack on their own? They look... no, they don't look much different at all. We'll start with a beehive as a blocker, and then we'll be setting up in a moment. Top 10 anime betrayals, indeed. Draw me an actual card since I'm gonna have so many bees to work with. I can take a little bit of damage. We will start setting up for a sacrifice in a moment. Place that there. Place the bee here and sacrifice them both for the wolf. Cat is currently attacking my door once again. Sacrifice the wolf for a strange frog. Unfortunately, that leaping trap is going to destroy the beehive, isn't it? Unfortunate. I would have wanted to have so much more fun with it. Ah, but not enough.
You will make an exquisite pelt. Give me your phone.
And off to the shed we go. But we have another card to get out of it. Would this still be the trapper, essentially?
Stay there. No need to move. I am afraid you're not dead yet. Hold still. Where did I put that camera of mine?
Can we opt not to give it to him? Guess we don't have a choice, do we?
Pathetic. Did you really think I would leave film in there?
I'll go to the regular voice.
Do you have any idea what that camera is capable of? Give me that. Give me your camera.
Tried PlayStation Dead Cells and the controls are easy. Got a 40-minute run. Wonderful! Yeah, I'm actually having a lot of trouble trying that with the Fight Pad since it was built for a gamepad and that's just working a lot better in general. Hey, your roleplay is fine, error, in most cases. I will personally ask that you do not make any sort of derogatory remarks towards your fellow students, though. Even in jest. You can insult me all you want, but the jokes about using fellow classmates for free EXP, I would prefer no. And I will put my foot down on that one. So, what's the little fun gimmicks we get to do? Draw the cost from? Well, low cost mole, obviously. Power and health. Wolf. Wish we could have gotten the abilities from the cockroach. Ah, here we go. Extract the sigils. Do we want bees or... no. Death is far more important. Ah, what do we put here? Why don't we name this after someone in the chat then? Last time a guy played this game, he discovered a mystery. He died by being shot by a... I'm not reading that. Because I know you're setting up for another one of those, these nuts gimmicks. Y'all have to be up a little bit earlier to pull a fast one on Xander. Well, given that is a card based around death, why don't we name it after our favorite murderer here?
One thing now remains. I must capture your visage. Say cheese.
I'm not upset, Error. It's just... avoid it in the future. Just in case.
Not much for trading, that last one. Are you prepared to make the right deals?
I mean, I'd have to make the right trade deals if I plan on being a big shot.
A gift from the angler. You see, he was defeated recently and wishes to redeem himself. It would be unfortunate if you were to fall to the prospector before he was given that chance. This hook is powerful. You may steal one of my cards with it. For that reason, you will not find any others along the path. Use it wisely. Seems the lovely stink bug has made its way in.
A lot of our little friends again, I guess they have some side story to tell us. Cat months back in. I will let the little rascal back into my room real quick. absolute little gremlin. Yes, this is a blind playthrough, so please no spoilers. Also, I refuse to watch the game theorist. That, Pat or whatever his name, he has no idea what he's talking about. I've watched enough of his videos, and after he told me that Wario is 9 feet tall, I knew he was... a liar is the kindest word I can use here. This game is indeed very popular. It's been going around for a while. In fact, it was suggested more than a month ago, if I recall. I should have gotten on that train while it was still popular at the moment. I shall heed your advice in the future, James. Much more closely, thank you.
Now we must decide on a tribe.
Bugs, wolves, or birds?
A randomly chosen bird card. Do you wish for something else?
Nah, I'll take it.
An ancient woman emerged from behind an oak tree. She carefully laid out intricate wood carvings, then gestured at them brusquely. Choose.
Burrower, waterborne, or guardian? I think I want a bit of a better defensive tool there. Or is this what our opponent would do? The old woman bared her teeth in satisfaction. Your first totem was complete. The guardian sigil will now be marked upon all your squirrel creatures. Well, that's hardly useful. I guess if we needed an emergency defense. Airborne, I see. You again. Indeed, our friend freed me. Well, I basically told them how to do it. You got a plan? We have another friend here. You've got to be... I wouldn't call him a friend. But I suppose we are in deep this time. I can't exactly get up from the table, can I? Burrower is basically a superior guardian. Unfortunate that we made that choice then. Okay, yeah, Burrower just keeps shifting, where Guardian only works when they place down a card the first time. But we don't use squirrels for much of anything other than immediate sacrifice, do we? We don't know who this mysterious fellow is. He keeps wanting to play a children's card game with us. An airborne longhorn attacking diagonal and sprinting. It's going to be an absolute pain to deal with. Stink bug is free. You have a... you had a bone counter. I couldn't quite see it. Painful. Alright, hopefully it's someone with high damage. It is not. But we will tip the scales back in our favor. Just because we still have a free attack to do. Because you're flying, we can't immediately deal with you. The bullfrog is a flying blocker. So I'll place him there to get rid of the... Oh, pronghorn. That's what he's called. You may need to speed it. Use it as a card and you will kill anything that stands before you. Alright. Well, I appreciate it, Era. Hopefully we will draw you soon. Ah, perfect. Stinkbug opposes the pronghorn and makes sure he cannot attack. The boulder does not block the sparrow, so squirrel goes down, then sparrow. And let's continue. Ah, Queen! Welcome back. It's been a while. A pleasure to see you once more. I will accept your concession, Mr. Weird Guy. Mr. Dungeon Master. Can you trick your opponent? I mean, we don't really have many card tricks. It's mostly just a case of a small bit of out-strategizing that we must do against him. I'm interested in seeing what little bugs we can do with. Mantis is gonna be fun. Ah yes, Queen with the very, very long serial number. Welcome back.
The bones of the ancient woman creaked and groaned as she approached.
You know, it's technically him still narrating. He's not speaking in character, is he?
With gently shaking hands, she placed her offerings before you.
I see, so we're building a different tribe here. Well, let's shift to focus on bugs. Kind of a bad totem to take with it, but we'll assemble it like so. How about thinking outside the box? We have wandered around the room a bit, but we haven't checked to see if there's anything different on this life yet. Good point.
The old woman collected her pieces and shuffled off into the darkness.
Yep, I'm hoping we can find that error card very soon. Ah, of course, this has not really changed. Okay. Already looked in there and got our starter cards. This is basically the same puzzle as it was before. Yeah, no new cards for us. Oh, couple extra teeth. I don't know if that one does anything. Nothing to deal with the candles up there. Yep, we can't yet mess with a bunch of these other things either, can we? Skull means nothing. Oh, yeah, he's right there. He's just gonna... He's gonna give us a little stare. Nothing for midnight. There's allegedly something to do with time there, but I can't remember if there's a very specific hour mentioned. Do we have any other codes in here? We already looked at 273. No other bright red text. Doesn't look like it. Those are just part of a picture frame. They're not any other secrets. Very well. I shall sit down again and resume. I feel like this one might give us an opportunity to get some new cards. Wolves have the burly shoving people aside ability. There is the candle. I don't know if that would have a date. Right. Draw a card. Every single time. Place you here. And get rid of the coyote and 1 point of damage from the Grand Fur. Although if we placed him to the side, 273 be used on the clock. The 7th minute, perhaps? Which would be 35 minutes into the hour. That's the only other idea I can get here. Alright, Stout. Buy us a little bit of time. Perfectly handled. Alright, and you're set up to attack that coyote immediately. So, the Grand Fur there does block sparrows, so we will place our sparrow over here, sacrificing the squirrel instead. Yeah, the one in the back next to the globe. I remember that one, but so far, well, we did that the first time and we didn't find any difference happening. So I'm not sure what we're doing yet. I shall pass. Let's go further ahead. Draw a squirrel. Simple enough. Guess he's out of cards. See if this changes anything. Unfortunately, no. There's something going on. Something going on with that little lamp there. Yeah, we could try this again. 2, 7, 3. That would be in the right order. Assuming hours, minutes, seconds, I believe. Let's try different combinations. No. Yeah, we don't have... I don't think we have the time to just sit here and fiddle with the clock for that entire period of time we'd need to mess with it. I don't think 273 is the answer here. We'll probably find something formatted as a time frame. Possibly. If it's hours, minutes, seconds, that would have been it. Yeah, we don't have time to figure out those passwords that password by brute force. Not now. Not 3 hours into a stream. So far, we're still being introduced to new mechanics in the card game itself, so I assume this is really where we have to be, where things are going to be going. Did I do that? Huh. I'll take the weird card. Sanic, if I hear another spoiler from you again, I will unfortunately have to take action against it. stink bug is too important. Mantis kind of has weak stats, so I think... actually... We'll upgrade Stoat again. Why don't we give him Mantis's power? Not too much with one attack, but we don't have too many cards to be using just yet. So strange. Why can't I remember his name? I believe I lost some of my memory in the flash. Let's just see what this does. No idea. We could use a sparrow, so first sacrifice a squirrel. Give us a little bit of attack here. By the number of cards in your hand, I'm guessing? That's what it'll look like. Exactly, okay. So that one gets more powerful as we have more cards in our hand. Got it. Wasn't going to survive the next turn regardless. There's a third talking card somewhere around here. Personally, I hate the guy. Biggest killjoy ever. But he's the only one of us with a plan to get things back to normal. I haven't yet figured out another puzzle solution, so I'll wait for us to go through a little bit more dialogue first. Sacrifice our squirrel, and Stoat will attack the coyote and sparrow. We can be in trouble very soon. But we have a little bit of time, and we'll only have one sparrow we're immediately dealing with. He surrenders, but I'll see if we can get a little bit of excess damage and go over the marker. Perfect. This should do it. And a couple of extra for us. Wonderful. I kind of like that idea that you have to get a certain amount of advantage rather than just a certain bit of damage on your opponent. It's a bit different from a lot of other card games. Let's do a little bone card. Reginald. A prior victim, I imagine. Very well. Not a bad card at all. Wonder if this is a case of you get to use cards that other players have made and it's secretly just beating you what other people have done. A health +2 campfire. Mostly with the same repetitive dialogue. I'm not going to repeat that every single time. Reginald here is poisonous. And I think he'll actually be very, very powerful with that instant kill effect. Although, the fact that they wanted to devour Reginald is a little disconcerting. This is going to hurt. The incessant clanking reverberated between your ears. The path ahead was blocked by a grotesque figure.
'Twas the prospector! Hee-haw!
I hate it. Lots of voice acting to be done. We'll have to fight that pack mule as soon as possible. Early game will want to use Mr. Tentacles here. No, we will wait a turn. Draw a card, always. Why does it zoom in on your hand first then? We could use the bone counters. And we could try to get Reginald soon. Caged Wolf. He had that for a reason. The card seems useless, but I think there's more to it. Got a little secret for us then, don't you? Very well. I'll bite. But he keeps sacrificing the squirrel, because it's basically what it's for aside from just tanking a hit. Which isn't the most particularly useful of effects. Guess we do have to open it up for him. We'll have to get rid of that wolf cub before it becomes a problem. He's doing the prospector again. Easy boss, the mule's key. And we already know that. Stinkbug, go ahead and get rid of that wolf cub for me. Yeah, the squirrel can basically tank one hit, but it's not too useful aside from that. I'll take something to get rid of that pack mule a bit. More cards. And then, since we're a little bit ahead, we can try relaxing for a moment. What was
What was that?
Ugh. And there are some cards which have more health and can take more damage, but I don't think there's any of them that are essentially guaranteed like that. Reginald. And we have the death counters to work for him. The bone tokens, essentially. I will draw another card, and not really too much of a concern here. We'll be fine. I'll keep the extra cards in hand.
Dagnabbit!
Well, there goes our Cthulhu card holder, which means we don't need to hoard these anymore. It's supposed to be kind of a Western prospector voice, but it is pretty odd, isn't it?
Pirate voice would be something more like this. Yahar!
We'll have to get rid of that wolf cub before it gets more powerful, and that's not going to be too difficult. Don't have very many bone tokens, so we'll place down a squirrel, sacrifice that for our bullfrog. Stoat would attack diagonally, so he would not hit the wolf cub. If there's a pirate character, you'll hear the pirate voice.
But I be not seeing any pirates just yet.
Coyote versus Coyote. Go ahead and take a bite out of him.
There's gold in them cards.
Is he gonna do that for every single one? Okay, noted.
Gold! I've struck gold!
Meaning we'll have to wait until he breaks them.
Get him!
Plenty of squirrels, but can we... No, we can't. Gold nuggets can't be sacrificed. We're in trouble then, until he moves something into a different space. We might be in trouble if that bloodhound doesn't move. Ah, okay. So the adder will show up. We can go ahead and, just to extend our time a little bit, put down a sparrow. Draw another squirrel. Then our adder can get rid of the bloodhound. Sacrifice. Oh, right, we need two of them. Adder goes here. And we don't have anything to immediately hit the adder yet, so skip this one. Plenty of squirrels, but not much to use against them. When that wolf cub comes up, I'll have to use Stoat. But before it evolves, basically, so you have to use the squirrel. Yeah, quit your belly aching. Just get rid of the wolf cub. And now we're almost at a stalemate.
The battle had taken a toll on you. Your supply of new creatures was exhausted. Starvation began to set in.
Creature would attack a card bearing the sigil. It does not. So we're left at kind of a stalemate then, it looks like. We could use the squirrels to tank, and then for the very last one, use the sparrow. Oh, great. Okay, so it's a guaranteed loss in that case. Yeah, we don't have any little gimmicks that we can do here. So we lose. Unless, of course, I just, Although that means A5 is going to pop up, isn't it? Go ahead and have you block a hit over here. Oh, of course. So don't flood the board for his first phase. Got it.
More gold for me. Give me your phone.
Yeehaw. Well, I wonder what death card we'll make this time.
Please try to remain alive for just a short while longer. I would like a memento.
This is very unnerving, the fact that this guy just kills people and makes cards out of it. Don't have very many choices here, do we? We'll take the better stats from Sparrow here. And then we only get a flying blocker. This is kind of a useless card. So I'm not gonna name it after anyone. Who do we hate? Axel Lowe. The man who has about 6 anti-airs in Guilty Gear. And will try to use that card basically never. Fine. I hope y'all are having fun, but unfortunately, that's all the time we have. So, definitely enjoying the game so far. It's a little subversive, a little different. I haven't played much of the deck building games yet, so I can definitely get into this and other games such as Slay the Spire, I know is a very popular one. Probably not going to be any more Inscryption this week, unless it's really, really popular enough, and I could do it on Saturday instead. Most of the rest of this week is going to be reserved for other roguelike games between Dead Cells on Tuesday and Thursday, and Noida on Wednesday. Friday is the first time that we'll actually be doing Guilty Gear in a while, so looks like we'll be back in the saddle as proper for 2022. A lot of the usual Xander tropes that you know me for. I'll be getting a lot more work done behind the scenes, accordingly. But thank you all for your attendance. We've had so many new students tonight, so I'll definitely have to pick up this game quite a bit more in the future, and see what other popular games we can pick up. But for now, class is dismissed, and thank you all so much for your attendance. Good night to everyone. Error, you will have your time soon enough. We didn't even find another Xander card that first time, or that second time. Well then, a good relative afternoon to you, Sanic. Presumably. Good night, all. Siphon, Error, Kayla, James, Broham, Leviathan, if either of you are still here, Sanic, New Face, Queen, same as you, welcome. Who else were we running through? Ah, no, you. Thank you so much for your new attendance, as well. And Astro from very far near the beginning of the stream. And Z, of course, always Z. There, I think that's the whole list. Thank you very much for your attendance.